one day out of the blue, we get an email from a company that's just like, we're exploring time and attendance solutions. Would you be interested in an acquisition? And just exploring an acquisition. They weren't
Sure.
making an offer at the point. And the initial email was actually, we just ignored it because that sounds really spammy,
Yeah.
right? Nobody just emails somebody like that. They followed up maybe a week or two later on the email, and then we thought, okay, maybe this is actually real. We knew of the company. They're a big Microsoft partner. They have software products of their own.
Hmm.
So yeah, decided to take the call. Realized it was actually real. Again, they're a Microsoft partner, so I think that was actually a perfect fit because we were focused on the Microsoft stack.
Yep.
They focused on the Microsoft stack. So I don't know how many other systems they were potentially reaching out to, talking to. I would imagine if they did their due diligence, a few. But in the end, um, did several demos, ran through a bunch of different scenarios with, yeah, every time we had a call, it was with more and more people. So it definitely was getting more real. And eventually one day they said, okay, what's your number? How much would you want us? How much would you sell this platform for? And that was a really, really hard question to answer
Yeah.
because I have no idea.
Yeah.
The typical model of trying to value a system like this did not work because it had one customer.
Yeah.
So,
Wasn't really
just trying to
connected to the interaction
extrapolate,
so much.
right, extrapolate
Wasn't.
some sort of MRR and turn that into a sale value wasn't going to work. It was really hard to judge how long, like another thing they could have based it on was how long would it take them to rebuild the platform.
Yeah.
And I tried to think through that. The number that we had in our head on day one was about a third of what we actually sold it for, which is great.
Yeah.
So we came up with a number, and I started talking to more people. I talked to Matt Trudy, I talked to several others. I kind of spent like all weekend talking to people and just kind of coming to grips with what that number could be. And I took my number here and eventually turned that into a number up here and sent back. We'll let it go for this number. They came back. This was over Thanksgiving time too,
Perfect.
so
Of what year? Of 23?
this was at the end of 23. Yeah,
Okay.
Thanksgiving of 23,
Okay.
which kind of stunk because a lot of people were out of the office. And
Yeah.
so after I sent that number, I think it was actually about 2 weeks before they came back with a real response.
Oh
And so
God.
over that 2 weeks, I don't think I slept very well.
Yeah.
um, and in the following 6 months too. But they came back and said, "Yeah, we like your offer. Here's a counter," and they countered just slightly below that top number, and it was an unreal number for somebody like myself.
Yeah.
Um, so we actually countered back just a little bit higher. That they stuck with their guns and said, "No, we're going to go with their original counter."
What
But
about
there,
this? Oh, please don't go away.
yeah, right. I and I was not going to counter, but several people I talked to said, "What's the worst that could happen?" Well, the worst
Yeah.
that could happen is that they pull
That
out,
money
so that
disappears.
would not be fun.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they just said, "No, we're going to stick with our original."
Yeah.
And their methodology that they justified the number at, they, which is actually kind of what I thought in the beginning, they said it would take our team this many months or whatever to rebuild at this price, and with a multiplier on top.
Yeah.
They said it was going to be this for them to rebuild, and they're going to multiply that by three or something, just because they get it in one day.
Yeah.
So that's what they came back with. I think then it took nearly 2 months, 2 to 3 months actually, to finally close the deal. This is during that time there was a lot of due diligence that they had to do. They gave me all sorts of Excel sheets that I had to fill out and answer questions, tons of stuff. I had to provide a ton of documents. But one interesting thing is that they're buying this giant code base, but until the day it closed, they never actually saw any code. I thought they would, before purchase, want to come in and inspect
Audit.
things, whatever. They didn't see a single line of code until the day of closing. So that
Huh.
was really interesting. As a dev, I think I'm always worried about what other people will judge my code like.
Yep.
So, that was 2 months of not a lot of sleep. Just like, okay, is this going to close? Is something going to fall through? What are they going to find that they don't like? Whatever. So I think it was like February 12th or something like that. Maybe the 20th, whatever. Until that day, I don't know, maybe got a few hours of sleep every night.
Yeah.
I wake up at like 5 in the morning
Ugh.
and just be sweating. It's like I can't let this deal fall through.
Yeah.
But in the end, it closed. They sent us money. I gave them code,
Yeah.
um, and here we are.
Yeah. Have you heard anything from them since?
Well, okay. So post closing, part of the deal was that I would help them implement and integrate it into their existing systems.
Okay.
They they had other software platforms that they've developed. They had some payroll systems. They had an education management platform, which is a perfect fit for the time clock system. It fits perfectly with payroll. You need both. So yeah, I helped integrate several of their systems into time clock now, and you know add a few minor features in the platform. I was obviously the most familiar with it. They had, I think they from the beginning threw 3 developers into it, and I would spend some time answering questions, teaching them about the platform. But yeah, so that was the first 6 months. I was heavily involved with the integration, and then 3 months after that, I was supposed to be available for questions and calls. They didn't actually use a lot of that time. Even from the beginning, I was very surprised. They didn't ask me a lot of questions. I think they wanted to try to solve things themselves, maybe learn the platform a little bit better.
Mhm.
But yeah, I did not receive as many questions as I thought I was going to.
Nice.
So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
But since then, I haven't heard much. I actually haven't heard anything about it. What
Yeah.
do you think about like a fit of the platform to the market? With their existing customers, they have hundreds, maybe thousands of customers. They were immediately able to just throw dozens of different customers into the platform, and they used it.
Yeah.
So it's actually getting some use now, as far as I understand. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, I wish I would have had a custom existing customer base that I could have thrown, 100 new customers into the platform just overnight.
Yeah.
But that's where we are.
Yeah. Distribution is king, man. They already
It
had.
is.
But that's great. Like you built a system that you built for multiple people to use, and multiple people are using it.
Yep.
Uh, and you don't have to maintain it.
Yeah, not
So
anymore. And
yeah,
yeah, thinking about my plan, if I would have somehow scaled it, if I
yeah,
would have throughout those conferences had dozens of new customers come on board, I don't know how I could have done that myself. Thinking back, I would have had to have hired people to help me, even just from the standpoint of what if the thing goes down at 3 in the morning?
yep,
Do I want to be always online for that? Do I want to always be on call vacation? It would have been, it's something that I didn't think through in the beginning. I was just like, I want to build a platform. I want to have people use it. I want to get new customers, whatever. Without thinking that far into the future, you think, okay, I'll solve it when I get there. But it would have been a lot of work.
yeah.